Alright, guys. Welcome to my ecosystem. Today I will be showing y'all my ecosystem. So let's get into it. So we go we are going to you see over there that's our little base. Our staff come in. This is more like a preserve, but it's still an ecosystem, I mean. But here's the Albertosaurus. It's most known. I usually see this Albertosaurus more in the swamp because there's four biomes. Right now we're in the plains of Isla Sorna, where mostly all the predators hang out. Velociraptors, and it just goes on. And here's some of the Velociraptors, probably fighting over food or alpha. Okay, the green Velociraptor got the first hit. This is very key for mating season and stuff that will come soon. Usually comes around rain season. But this is very key. Velociraptor, green Velociraptor 1. Now, as you can see, the Brachiosaurus. Here it is. And here's our Carnotaurus named Toro. He used to be in the big pack where he dominated, but now he decided to come to the plains and be a solo Carno. He's trying to take this Brachie down. And as you can see, I call that the Mango River. It separates the big canyon and the plains, where Baryonyxes and Taurosauruses like to drink and eat and just live around here. You'll see them around here. And Baryonyxes live in the swamps and forest. As you can see, Stegosaurus here too. They live everywhere on the island, except the swamps. Because obviously they're not built for the swamp. But behind those trees right there is the next biome. Well, we're not going to go there yet. But yeah, some Carnos came and followed our boy Toro. Demon. No, Toro. There's another Carnotaurus named Demon, who's the alpha of the pack. He's in. And their pack has become a very dominant, predators around these spaces. And it seems like whoever Carnotaurus this is going against a Carnotaurus. Not a Carnotaurus. A Baryonyx. Baryonyx doesn't have a real big chance here. It's not made for fighting, more for fishing. But Carnotaurus are faster, has more mass, stronger bite force most likely. It's better in every single way, so the Carnotaurus will most likely win. But it seems close. But these two know what could be risked. Injuries that could stop them from hunting, and then boom, it's over. But it seems like the Carnotaurus wins. Now into the Great Canyon, where we will meet the apex predator for the crater, and the plains. She loves being in both, but she usually stays around here, around this abandoned staff place. There she is. Rexy. Rexy usually dominates around these parts, the plains and the crater. She usually stays at the crater, but she will go to the plains if she feels like she needs to get some big food. And everyone knows she's queen over here. But there's also Triceratops, Taurosauruses that also like to come here, Amatosauruses. As you can see, this mating pair here. They seem to just be roaming around. Oh, and here's some affection. This is how you know they're mating. As when they do that, that's their way of showing affection. But anyways, it's time to move away from the crater. Also, Brachiosaurus like to live over here. Carnotaurus and Ceratosaurus, Majungasaurus. But they're very rare as they like to stay in the forest. But you'll see Brachiosaurus mostly in the forest. That's their main place where you see them. Apatosauruses also likes to live in the plains more often. I think this is the only place where they live in the ecosystem. But anyways, it's time to enter the forest. So as you can see, the forest has probably the biggest hill, the main spot. But here we can see a Triceratops. Triceratops are not that common here, as they like to live in the plains and the crater. Monosauruses aren't that common here either, but some do get to migrate here, as this is a more peaceful area than the plains and the crater. Ceratosauruses are more commonly known to live over here, but they do live in the plains as well. And you can see the sauropod behind us. The Suchomimus are more commonly known to live around these parts of the forest. Surprisingly, they do not like to live in the swamp, even though they're built for the swamp. But, hey, I guess life finds a way by itself. Carnotaurus also live over here, and also there is an apex predator over here. He's very hard to find, but I'm pretty sure we'll find him before we have to leave the forest. But here, this is what I like to call the Great Valley. Right here. Usually, there would be Brachiosauruses, Gallimimus eating here. But as the storm comes, they're probably going to go find shelter. So they won't be eating out here. Some might. But here's the Gallimimus. They're usually known to live in the plains. Not the crater as much. But they will come over to the forest sometimes. As there is 3 different species of Gallimimus. Or, well, terrain. There's one that lives in the swamp, one that lives in the forest, and here. And here's pretty much the big lake of the forest, where baryonyx like to live. Now, as I remember, some herbivores will come around to sunbathe and nest here, as there's not a lot of carnivores around here. And baryonyxes are more into fish. But there's 3 of them. And even though the baryonyx isn't a dominant predator here, it is to be known that they are still a ferocious, predator around these parts. Also, here's another abandoned outpost. Oh yeah, velociraptors also like to live around here. Big packs. But it's very hard to see them since they like to live in the forest. Like dense forest. The Dilophosaurus too. But anyways, I'm just looking for the apex predator over here. He's very hard to find, as he doesn't like to make much roars and noises as Rexy, or I can't tell y'all who's next apex. But maybe we can find him if we can just hear a little bellow or a growl from him. Surprisingly, I haven't seen any as much sauropods now, Brachiosauruses. They should have been coming out now since the storm is over. They might be still sleeping. But anyways, Here he is, Zeb, the apex predator of the forest. He dominates these parts, he rules these parts. Nothing really can stand up to him, just like how Rexy is in the crater and the plains. But only if he knew what's behind these trees kind of barrier. As the Gallimimus walks into it. Welcome to the swamp, where you only see the most rarest species at. And also, you'll find the most unique and armored species here as well, and unique sauropod here. And velociraptors do live down here too, but not as much. Well, here's the iguanaguan. It does live in the plains, but you don't see them as much. But in the swamp, you pretty much see them everywhere you go in the swamp. They're like the main herbivores, and they're no pushover. With them big forearms, they could damage up any predator. We also have the Ankylosaurus. They're also no joke to mess with. That's why they don't get messed with at all. But I think you just saw our apex predator behind there. But hey, we're not ready for him just yet. His name is Spiny, by the way. Also, a Bertosaurus live over here. But they only hunt on the Stygimolochs, as Stygimolochs are actually only known to live in the swamp as well, as long with the Ankylosauruses and another kind of sauropod, it's Camarasaurus. Now, it shouldn't be hard to miss since it's pretty much the biggest thing over here. So let's try to find it. Oh, I forgot that Baryonyxes live over here. They pretty much live in every biome. But here is the Camarasaurus. Might not be the biggest sauropod, but it's up there. Oh, there's an Ankylosaurus herd. And the Gallimimus herd, right there. Probably the biggest Gallimimus herd. And a Velociraptor. But there's only 3, 4 around here, as they do not like the swamp as much. But there's still Velociraptors down here. It would be surprising to say this if you're a big Dilophosaurus guy, but they don't live around here. But Spiny is the apex predator over here. But surprisingly, he's the most calmest predator out of any other predator on the island. As he only eats fish, and that's pretty much it. He won't fight unless he absolutely has to. He might be one of the strongest predators, but he does not like to fight at all. Just likes to chill, eat fish, drink, and chill. Pretty much the calmest apex, as Rex and Zeb do not have access to fish, so they always have to be aggressive. But for Spiny, there's no reason to act aggressive, as he can just catch fish, as what he's probably running for. Also, the fact that nothing down here can rival his power. Just like how Zeb and Rexy are in their respected ecosystem. Or not ecosystem, but biomes. But as you can see, he's pretty good at fishing as well. He has these sensors in his mouth that tell him where fish is. They're kind of like eyes that are underwater, but your eyes are locked on to fish. That's pretty much it. Also, the fact that he's the biggest one, and weighing 10,000 pounds. but he's the most chillest out of them. But anyways, thank you for coming to my ecosystem, and hey, I might bring y'all back to the island.